Today I'm on Highway 17 over here heading towards Jekyll Island. These are the pilings off in the marsh. And this is the area where David Davis Seafood Company was located in 1915. And this whole area right here before Highway 17 was built, this whole marsh area was a big building that produced seafood. This is being sent around the world, processed it. The easiest way to find this area is to find this little ditch with the rail on it on Highway 17, and you'll see this is the area. Right, you can see the pilings right across the street. These dock pilings are from the David Davis Seafood Company from 1915. This is where their dock was. They used to load it up and go down Club Creek and then head out to the Brunswick River to take the seafood throughout the world. Okay, this is the concrete slab where they had the big iron pots that cooked the shrimp before they did the processing of putting it in barrels and wooden crates with ice to send throughout the world. This concrete slab is what's left, that and the pilings out there. I think there's another one on the other side of the road in the marsh. But this was imagine a big building out here. This wasn't marsh at the time, it was a big building. And it was had a size of 2 barns. And that's where they processed shrimp in 1915. There was no refrigeration. The David Davis Seafood Company was established in 1915. Daniel A. Krause joined after he graduated from Glenn Academy and became a junior partner in the business in 1918. This whole area was a seafood processing plant, but back then it looked a lot different. The road wasn't there. This was probably higher up. There wasn't a marsh. And this was a big, huge building about the size of 2 barns out here to process the shrimp. They were in the wholesale distribution of shrimp, crab, and other seafood throughout the world. You gotta remember, in 1915 there was no refrigeration, so everything was done by ice and stored in a brine solution. Trawlers that went out and harvested the shrimp got 4 cents a pound, and they'll throw back the red ones and the small ones and only keep the big gray ones. Back then they had smaller boats that were 25 to 30 feet, 2-cylinder with 24 horsepower, some 3-cylinder with 36 horsepower. These boats you had to manually crank. Some of the trawlers that they used for the harvest of shrimp was the Inez, the Rachel, the Raven, the Lynette, the Ira, the Eunice, the Buffalo, and the Frida. The pride of this shrimping fleet was called the Peter, and it was powered by 3-cylinder Bridgeport gas motor, which was very new at that time. Trawlers used ice to keep the shrimp fresh until they brought it into the port. Then there were some rails that originated from here that went all the way out to the wooden pilings out there in the marsh back in the 1915. They said the rails still may be in the marsh out there, but they used to go across this area, this street. We got to remember 17 wasn't there then, but it went all the way across. After they cooked the shrimp in big iron vats or pots, to the south here there was a building about the size of 2 barns that they put all the shrimp and seafood on these wire racks that were about 2 to 4 feet off the ground to cool. The racks they put on were made out of galvanized steel, very thick, meshy type stuff. Huge, big, huge boilers to heat the pots on this concrete slab. So underneath they had a big, like a fuel source, warming up the pots to cook the shrimp. The biggest market was headless shrimp at the time because everybody already wanted it ready so they could use it. They would pack the shrimp in these barrels with a briny solution to send it to England and around the world. And when they sent it to New York or locally in the United States, they would put it in wooden boxes with ice. David Davis died May 17, 1925, and his business ended then. But his partner, Daniel Krause, opened up a business called Brunswick Fisheries that operated down in front of London Street in the waterfront downtown Brunswick. They should just wonder what everything used to look like back then. There's a dock from the David Davis Seafood Company. This also became other things afterwards. People turned into other things. But right here is where it was. And this whole area looked a lot different back then. Okay, this is a satellite view of the David Davis Seafood processing area right here on Highway 17. You can see where I circled it. You can see the concrete pad there, and the pilings are out there. And this is the concrete pad. It's in the marsh now, closer to the Lanier Boulevard side. And this is where they used to cook the shrimp in big pots. And this is what I got circles where the pilings are that are out in the marsh area across from where the concrete pad is on the other side of Highway 17.